All right, hello. So I got myself a set of Paul Rubens, and this is the first time that I'm going to use them. Got them about 2 months ago, and this is a 48 count set. I think it's a basic set. All right, this is what the box looks like. And the back. 48 count Paul Rubens color oil pastels. So I got these on Amazon. The whole thing was $25.99. Pretty cheap for 48 colors. So let's open it up. So today's painting is, I'm going to do a painting and I'm just going to use the Paul Rubens. So I'm not using any other brands, no new pastel, just this. And the scene that I'm going to paint is this one from Yosemite. All right, and I did a painting like this years ago, actually a few years ago, and I did it with my normal sets of oil pastel. So this will be fun to do just with one brand. So that's the scene we're going to do. I like it. It's got the water, it's got some good light, it's got a distant mountain with some interesting shadow and light, so it's got some really cool elements. And so that's the scene. And then the paper we're going to use is Arches cold press oil paper. It's 100% cotton, and it's 140 pounds, so it's a nice thick durable paper. It's meant for oil painters because it's got a membrane in here that won't allow liquid to go through it to the other side, so there's no bleed through, and you can really feel the thickness of the paper. It's a nice paper to work with. I found it in the oil painting section of my art store. I decided to give it a go, and I really like it. All right, so it's 12 by 16 Arches cold press oil paper, and that's what I have up here. All right, so that's what I have up there. Let's look at these Paul Rubens. I'm trying not to shake the camera so much, so I'm kind of be a little bit more mindful of that. So let's take a look at these. Comes with this little pamphlet. Talks about usage method, how to use different techniques. These are the different sets they have. So I have the basic 48 count. I have this one, but they have these other ones like the pearlescent sets, the macaron sets, and here they are back here. So here are the color swatches of each one and their numbers. And those are the different sets. So I have the basic color. That's what this one is. All right, $25.99 on Amazon. That's a good price. All right, let's take a look. Now, I never used these. This is the first time of using them. This is their white. But you know, they feel really soft. They feel like Sens almost. Pretty soft. I get two whites. They give me two whites. Here's a bean yellow. So nice and soft. Here's a phthalo blue. Phthalo blue, yeah. So, all right. So the goal is to create a painting using just this set, just these colors, no other brands, no other sets I'm going to use, just this. And let's see what happens. This will be an experiment. This is, again, the first time I've used these Paul Rubens, so I don't know. I'm going to learn some new stuff here. This should be fun. All right, let's get started. All right, so here's my reference. Okay, Yosemite National Park. I forgot the name of this mountain. Maybe El Capitan? I don't know. Someone can probably figure that out. All right, and so let's start. So here we go. I'm just going to go with, let's see, let's go with this blue right here, this Prussian. Is that Prussian blue? Where is it? Yeah, Prussian blue. All right, familiar with that. And they don't have any grays. I noticed there's really no grays. I have this silver, but no real gray. It's kind of sparkly, Kind of looks like silver. So I find that interesting. I didn't get any grays with this set. So I'm going to have to use this with something else, maybe like one of these lighter browns. All right, let's try these two. I'm just trying to find some middle value color, some nothing too dark, but nothing too light either, something I can see. All right, so I'm just kind of loosely sketching a scene here. Right, just trying to the banks of the river as it comes off. I'm just kind of judging that roughly. Looks like it comes in here. All right, and then it kind of starts going back. All right, disappears back in there. Okay, let's see how soft that is. So it's spreading pretty easy. This is this paper's got a nice weave to it, so it can take a lot of layers. Okay, let's do that. That's where that river part's going to be. And I'm going to take this brown and I'm going to come back in with, there's going to be a field that comes right here. So I'm going to bring this brown and mark an indication where the distant part of the field goes away. Something like this. Okay. And then we have a bunch of trees. Okay, so I'm just going to do this right here, indicating a bunch of trees. Just trying to see how soft that is, how easy that is to spread. So that would take a lot of work to do this by hand. I think I'm going to use solvents for this. Okay, let's go back here, go over that. Right, and you got these trees. Now you got some really tall trees right about here. All right, just pretend these are tall trees for the moment. Just kind of sketch in this little scene here. Okay, these are just a bank of trees. You got some ones that are closer, they're going to be a little taller. All right, and this water is pretty dark, so I'm going to start coloring just in the whole thing with this Prussian blue. This was all like a river right here. Trying to be more mindful of keeping this camera steady as I do this in first person view. I think it's important to see the pastel strike the paper. That's why I do it this way. Because I have the camera over here, you just see my hand, you don't really see how I'm holding it. That's why I like this view. So I know that it can be very, jarring, I guess, to see all the motion of the camera. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. So, but sometimes I forget, Okay, so those will be a bunch of trees. We got this will be a field. Might as well just do the field in. I'll just put some brown in there. We're gonna go over it. It'll be green eventually, but I need something to cover the paper. Something the green can sit up on. Okay, so there's that. Now there's another tree, a big tree that kind of overlays right here, but we're not gonna put that in right now. So we got some blue. Right, this is the reflection in the water of this stuff here. It's mostly all dark here. I'm looking at right here. See, it's just mostly all dark. So let's just treat it as mostly all dark. Just one color. Just kind of cover the paper. Okay. All right, now I could spread that by hand, but I'm going to do it with some solvent here. All right, now I'm going to go over and find a sky color. That's a good one right there. Got some white. Maybe we'll try a little white. Some sky. And now I need a distant mountain value. I think I'm going to go with this this ultramarine violet. and maybe the combination of these two here. Let's see what that looks like. And maybe some, because I don't have any grays. I have royal blue, or this one is French ultramarine. Let's go with that. All right, so I got a French ultramarine, a gray blue, that's what they're calling this. I'm just calling it sky. And this ultramarine violet. Okay, let's try those out. So let's take the sky and start making the sky. Let's get some nice blue going. And before I finish on the sky too much, I want to put in these mountains, but pretty much the whole top is just all blue, so we'll just start there. Okay, let's put some blue in. All right, and that sky transitions to a lighter blue, kind of like that. So I gotta transition that blue. There's a light gray. Looks like it leans more warm than cool. This is light gray, but we'll put this there towards the horizon, closer to the horizon here. Not worried about it mixing in with that blue I put down earlier, the Prussian blue. I mean, this is first layer, so my goal here, you know, is just to paint in layers. So I'm going to put a lot of layers in this. This is really about covering the surface. Okay. So we'll start mixing in this light gray that actually leans warm. Okay. Now there's a mountain right here, so I'm going to use this ultramarine violet to sketch in this mountain. I'm just using a lighter value because I want that to sit back. Okay, something like that. And then there's another mountain. Let's actually go over the top of this with this French ultramarine. It was a little bit darker, much darker. It's still lighter than that, right, because we want this Prussian blue to be a little darker than that mountain. Okay. All right. Now back behind here we have another mountain that's further away. It's kind of doing something like that. Okay, that's further away from us, so differentiate that, just make this one a little darker, that sticks out in front. And, don't want to drop those guys. Alright, now continuing on, we're going to take this same ultramarine violet and we're going to make the bigger mountain, the main mountain, and it kind of comes up right about here. Kind of goes over, and there's this piece, goes straight up, and then over, like that, something like that. There's this piece that goes straight down. Okay, put that in there. I'm not worried about the shadows right now, just the overall shape of it. Remember, values. This is a darker value than that. Let's just do this whole side over here. Now there'll be a tree that comes up, covers this whole thing right here. This whole area will be covered by a near tree. All right, I'm gonna go back to the Prussian blue. branches and stuff this tree has, but not important right now. Let's just cover the paper. All right, and then we're going to come up to the blue and finish this out. Okay, and then the blue is going to get repeated in the water reflection down here because we have the sky. So this will be water, and you can see even that mountain right there. You can see a piece of it right here, and over here you have a piece of the this mountain. Right, and then you have the reflection of these trees right here. Okay, it's real simple. Just keep this part simple. Just put some color up there and scrub it around. And then more blue. Okay, get the idea? All right. And then in here, there's actually some rocks and stuff. I'm not going to worry about that. Really just trying to cover everything, make sure we got good coverage before we start with this terp. It's really going to spread it out and change this whole look. Okay. A little bit of blue in the field there. A little bit of brown in the field there. Maybe some down there. Okay. Just random put it spots. All right. So let's get some terp. I'm going to clean my hands. All right. There's the reference. There's the painting. Okay. Rough draft, right? And terp. Got that right here. This is turpenoid. Right, you just want a solvent. Let's see what happens, how these Paul Rubens respond to this solvent. I'm able to do this with every brand of oil pastel I've tried, so this is the first time trying this with Paul Rubens. Let's just see how it goes. I'm going to start up here in the sky. Just see if these will spread out. There we go. It's good to have a brush that has stiff bristles so that you can cut into the oil pastel. If the brush is too soft, it's harder to do this. It extends pretty well. I mean, the color really is spreading good. Just trying to cut into it with this brush. Still going. I haven't dipped back in that terp yet, so this is good. It's still spreading. I just got to scrub it into a little bit more effort here, but not a problem. Now the colors will look dull with solvent. I've noticed that with other brands too, so I'm not worried about the dullness of it. Okay, so it's getting kind of dry. I'm going to go ahead and get that wet again. I had some gray down in here to try to lighten up that sky, so I'm going to kind of push that up into the blue. Try to mix that in there. Okay, not bad. Again, first layer, so don't worry about too much at this stage. Let's go up here. So this guy is pretty much done. All right, let's move down. Let's move down. All right, I'm holding the camera with my left, kind of against my chest, so it stays stable, and then using my right hand to do the work. I define the edge of that mountain, kind of does this curve right here. Look at that blue mix in. It's okay. It's okay if it all mixes in. We just have color. We just need to cover the paper. Cover the paper. With solvents, this is so much easier. If I had to blend this by hand with a stump, that would take a long time. This just makes it really easy. All right, vertical strokes, because there's a lot of vertical lines in that mountain. The shadows are vertical, trees are vertical. These trees I'm going to kind of mix up like this, get that color just moving. Okay, make a tree. Here, make a tree. All right, you can see it happening. All right, that's a fat tree. Here's some more fat trees. Nice blue and nice pretty color that is. Just nice, deep, pleasant on the eyes. A Prussian blue. It's a good one to start with. It's a good dark, a good medium, a good way to start the values, you know, your darks. You can go dark or you can go lighter. It's a nice way to start. Those will eventually be trees. Here's some more. Notice that brown mixing in with the Prussian blue, you can kind of see a little green happening, which is good because the whole thing's going to be green eventually. Okay, back and forth motion here on the field. And I'll push in to really kind of cut into that oil pastel to really move it. Paper really matters here with using a solvent because you don't want a real thin paper. It'll bleed through the back. So having a nice thick paper is, I think, beneficial for this. Okay, let's keep going right here. All right, there's some more trees. Pushing up, 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 up. We'll play around with the various trees and stuff, but right now, cover the paper. I think I need a little bit more solvent. You can tell it'll start to get hard to move stuff around. That's when you know you need to like redip this and then kind of brush off the excess solvent. And then you're ready to go again. And I've just been using the same brush. I could have gone with smaller tips for some of this stuff, but you don't really need to. I'm going to go over this with several more layers, so I know all of this is going to get covered up here. Yeah, you can see the trees are starting to build up. All right, let's I'm going to brush this off and we'll do the rest of the mountains and then come back to the water. All right, so I just need to finish right here. Okay. And then over here, this distant mountain. Okay, and then we have the nearer one, which kind of sits right here. Okay, there's that. Now let's go to the water and finish this out. So the water, I'm going to try to do more horizontal stroke again to try to get that indication of being flat, which is really important. Nice flat water. Bring that tree down a little bit more right there. And I need some more solvent. When you get a lot of solvent, it's really easy to move like this. And so far, these Paul Rubens just feel just fine. They don't feel any different than the other brands I'm using. You know, the softer stuff like the Neo Pastels, and it's performing just like a Neo Pastel is at the moment, the way I'm using this. So when I do plein air, I use 100% Neo Pastel. So any plein air work I do, that's all one brand and it's Neo Pastel. And I use a solvent with that. And so this feels very much like the Neo Pastel as far as this part of it goes. We'll see when I start adding more layers, we'll see how it changes. But right now, cover the paper. Okay, so we got some reflections. These little bit of trees. I'm kind of trying to bring this blue down to kind of make it look like a reflection of trees. Need some more of that. All right, and try to finish horizontally. Cuts back here, the water cuts back through here, but this is all dark, so it's all gonna be the same right now. More turp. There, cover the paper is done. Complete. honestly, and I'm not joking, that's probably one of the hardest parts of oil pastel when you first start using it. It's just, how can I cover the paper? You know, how can I get a nice uniform deep look with the color? And that's one of the hardest things. The solvent really helps with that. Makes it feel more like oil painting too. Okay, so first layer, just very basic. You have the trees, we have the mountains, sky, transition of the sky. We have water reflections. Okay. Key with water is to flat, horizontal. Nice. Even at this stage, it helps. Right? More mentally, probably, than anything. Right? And trees that tend to be vertical. Same with the shadows in the mountain. There's a lot of shadows up in here that we'll have fun with as we go through this. Alright, so first layer felt pretty familiar. And those are the sticks I used. There is the reference again. As you see, we got a lot more ways to go. But there you have it. So I'm going to take a break. It's about 30 minutes in. I'm going to let this sit out for a good half hour. I'm really going to let it dry out. So I'm going to actually go make myself a lunch. I'll be back.